My name is Geil Browning. I am the president and COO.
And I'm Geil Browning, CEO and founder of Emergenetics International. So Emergenetics International is a workforce development company that uses psychometric tools to assess how somebody thinks and behaves. And we take that information to help employees in companies for team collaboration, for communication, for hiring. And we also are using a different product in education. We have offices in Singapore, New York, Netherlands, and our headquarters are here in Denver. I think our industry crosses all industries, and I always think we're a good barometer for what's going on with the economy. And right now I'm happy to tell you that Colorado, by our standards, is doing very well.
There's three key elements in our world. One is competence. You want competent employees who can be relied upon to do the job. Second of all, you want to assemble a diverse mixture of thinking and behavioral attributes to ensure that you're having all of these different perspectives, representatives. And then third is build the right climate, a positive climate for this group to collaborate and to grow. And by engaging in these three elements, you really see the true benefit of a collaborative environment moving forward. One thing that is just fascinating with our work is we just meet a lot of interesting people along the way. And we have the benefit of being able to reveal a bit that they may not have known about themselves. So a lot of times this happens with our corporate clients. I had a gentleman the other day. He's an engineer and owner of a consulting firm here in Denver, who mentioned to me that the results that he learned from Emergenetics not only improved his work life and how he works with his employees, but also at home. It turns out he was pretty close to having a divorce. And so he figured out his profile. He had his wife take his profile and his children take the profile. And they are on a much more solid foundation now, and that's really the gratifying aspect for me, is that we can help people professionally, but also personally.
I'd like to talk about education because that's where I'm putting most of my energy at this moment. And so we go into schools and we help teachers understand about their students and how they like to think and behave. So there was a high school student, very smart, but had often caused all kinds of problems in the classroom. Probably we figured out because he was so smart he sometimes was quite bored. So he developed an app. And this app would turn off all the machines in the classroom. So the teacher would be lecturing away and he'd push the app and all of a sudden the PowerPoint would die. Well, then they finally caught him. He was sent to the assistant principal's office. Actually, the assistant principal told me the story. And they finally figured out that he was what we would call an analytical conceptual thinker. So the assistant principal is a structural social thinker. So the principal says to him, well, you can't do this. You are breaking the rules. And he said, no, there's no such rule. I did something that was technological and fun, and I thought it would be fun. And she said, well, it wasn't fun. You're hurting your teacher, you're hurting the other students, you're hurting what's going on in the classroom. And the conversation just got wilder and wilder and wilder, and he would be more abstract in his thinking and talking, and she would get more structural in talking about the rules and how they were hurting other people's feelings. And finally she said, I got to the point where I just said, okay, this is it. You can't do this anymore. And that was the end of the story. Well, eventually when they were able to take the Emergenetics youth profile and they could see how he liked to think, and she understood how she liked to think, they then began to understand what was happening to him. And so then they called him into the office and they said, you know what, we think that you have a very special brain, and how can you take your attributes and make a difference in the school? And that's all he needed. And when he finally graduated, the mother went to the assistant principal and said, thank you, this last year has been the best year he's ever had in school, because people finally understood who he was. Our strategic vision, which we've outlined this year, is 40% growth over the next 5 years. And we believe...
Year after year.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And we believe that this will put us in line with all the larger industries in our field.
Mm-hmm. My goal is I want to say that I work at Emergenetics and not have to explain what that means. When we achieve that sort of brand recognition, I know that we have made it, and so we are actively working towards that goal. When
we put the word Emergenetics together, my colleague Wendell Williams, he and I developed the instrument together. We were just a couple of geeks, and we thought, oh, we're talking about how people emerge from their genetics and then how their behaviors are influenced by the environment. So we thought Emergenetics was very clever, but the marketing people ultimately said, nobody will get it. So that's why we think Morgan's vision is great. So nobody will ever have to ask us again.